PASCAL. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits and all that good stuff. All right. Missed you guys the last couple days. It's been a very busy one for myself. A lot of events, a lot of things going on, and I wasn't able to get on here and talk to you guys. But nonetheless, we are here, and I'm going to be playing a little bit of catch up. And there's some stuff that just recently happened. So we're going to kind of play. We're kind of going to go backwards. We're going to be all over the place, to be really honest. We're going to go backwards, forwards, up, down. We're going to go in circles. It's going to be one hell of a show. But I told you guys that I would be keeping an eye on this particular case, this mystery. See, now this should be a case by now. I'm just going to say that right now. This should be a case by now. But at the same time, it's still just considered an investigation on the demise of these three men. But to me, I think that they got a case on their hands. But how they left this planet, there should be some serious investigation into what they consumed. We're going to be talking about all that stuff and more. So please do me a favor, okay? Hit that like button down below, please and thank you. That would really, really mean a lot. Okay, send it past 300 likes as you start to file in. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to every single last one of y'all. Happy Sunday to everybody. Hopefully it's a good one for you guys, as it should be. Okay, and yes, please do not forget, hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on Facebook, of course. All right, hit that reaction button down below. Hit that follow button on my Facebook page. That'd be greatly appreciated. Follow me here if you're watching on YouTube. Hit that join button down below. Consider becoming a member of the family by hitting that join button down below, okay? And of course, please go check out my merch page, pascalmerch.com. You know, I got some really great custom-made, handcrafted hoodies and t-shirts. Go check it out. I guarantee you'll find something you like in there. Okay, let's get into this, guys. Let's get into this conversation. As you guys know, the last time we talked, which was like Thursday, all right, like I said, it's been a very busy, very, 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 very busy time for me, okay, the last few days. But as you guys know, as of Thursday, they dropped that the toxicology report on these three men did drop. Now, the thing is, well, I'm just going to show you. I mean, as you guys know, we talked about it right when it dropped. We were first online to talk about this and go, wait a second. Something ain't right here. Something ain't right here. Given the fact that they said it was going to be several weeks, y'all. Okay, let's keep it funky. They said several weeks till we actually saw any type of toxicology report, autopsy report, you name it, around this particular mystery, okay, around these three men. And then lo and behold, out of nowhere, they were able to expedite these reports. Now, toxicology reports come back saying that there was Fenty. Not only just Fenty, but there was a gang of other things in their system. They say multiple substances were in these three men's systems. But most importantly, they had Fenty in their system. Now, from what we understand and from what we've gotten and gathered, okay, they say in the units of 10, I guess, the highest level is 10 of Fenty that could take a person out, take a man out. And allegedly, these men had 30, the level of 30 in their system. Now, that's absolutely crazy, shocking, surprising. We're all wondering what the hell's going on here, because if we understand that 10 units is enough to take a man out, how the hell did they survive with it, even long enough to have 30 in their system. Now, there's something that we need to talk about. We are going to talk about that. There's a expert, okay, that we're going to be watching a video on here in a little bit, that's saying that, hey, you can have, it depends on the person. Each person is a varying degree of how much their body can actually withstand the Fenty, which is actually really, really surprising to me as well. So we will be looking at a video here, a news clip here in just a little bit, because at the same time, like I said, when you hear about, a level of 10 of that F wipes a person out, but these guys had 30, instantly we're all scratching our heads. Instantly our jaws drop, going, what the hell? And also you're thinking, maybe this stuff was cut really hard, cut really hard on the Fenty, and not so much on the sugar. Now, of course, we've got to use these code words, guys. I know some of you guys will get annoyed and frustrated about it, but these are the breaks, okay? We got to use these code words so we can keep this show on and keep this conversation going. But one thing I will say, and I said it before, when we did look at this not the autopsy, but the toxicology reports that were, or at least the details from the toxicology report that were leaked out, to me, this should be looked at as a homicide. This should be looked at as a full-on case. These men's lives were taken against their will. Now, I understand that they may have knowingly consumed their party favor, but they didn't know that that stuff was going to be laced with any of that kind of stuff. Also, you got to remember, just so you guys know, it may not be the booger sugar. It could also be the Mary Jane that they were smoking. Somebody rolled a blunt or pulled out a bong or a chillum or anything of those sorts. There's a good possibility that the stuff could have been laced in there too. Anything is possible with this particular case. But what we know so far is that for sure, what a lot of us were predicting is that these men took something that was not, that knocked them out. Whether it knocked them out cold, made them pass out, or just took their lives, period, we do not know that part yet. There is a theory, okay? Again, there is a theory that's still going on out here, and I'm sure we're going to hear it from this expert here in just a little bit, where he says, and a lot of people are thinking that maybe these guys passed out. They took this stuff, didn't know that there was a large amount of F in there. They passed out. And because they passed out, they froze from being outside. And of course, Jordan happened to be inside, I guess lucky for him. And if he partook, this may have knocked him clean out for 48 hours, which it's possible, right? Where he wakes up, doesn't know what the hell happened. But lucky him, he passes out inside the house and now passes out outside the house. Don't worry, we're going to be looking at that video here in just a minute. But one thing I do want to point out, and I said this too, and it's interesting that articles are being written about this as well. I thought this was interesting, okay? Now we know that Jordan Willis is in rehab right now. Okay, he has checked himself into rehab because he had a shocking, heartbreaking wake-up call. Okay, and I mean, obviously, I'm not saying "quote unquote" what a source close to the family has said about Jordan going into a rehab facility, but at the same time, if the timeline that I just explained to you just a little bit ago actually did go down, wouldn't that be a harsh and shocking and heartbreaking, gruesome wake-up call to clean up your ish and lay off the party favors? Or man, you're very lucky and you may have a problem. Again, we don't know the full timeline right now. Speculations, theories, and whatnot, okay, conspiracy theories, etc., have gone wild, have run wild. People are still leaning on the fact that Caleb McGinney, Clayton McGinney's cousin, came out and said, oh, this guy's a mad scientist. He put this whole thing to, he made tailor-made party favors specifically for friends and family, or mainly friends, right? People are still leaning on that too. People are still saying and still thinking that maybe he made designer tailor-made party favors for his friends, and that's the thing that knocked them out. Like I said, we got a lot to talk about. There's a source that says he didn't do this kind of stuff, hence the reason why the title is up above. We're going to be looking at a couple things, but one of the things that I thought was very interesting about him checking himself into rehab was they're saying that this was is a part, or experts are warning that his checking himself into rehab could be a part of an elaborate legal strategy, as reports say. Of course, his friends were found in his backyard, and of course, they had the sugar and they had the Fenty in their system. Okay? Now, I'm just going to read this top paragraph here, but this is exactly what I said. I said this exactly. I was like, nah, could this be him trying to get sympathy? Or is this just another strategy to keep himself out of trouble, make it look like he's remorseful, whatever it may be? Okay? But says Jordan Willis checking himself into a rehab facility could be part of a wider legal strategy to garner sympathy in the court of public opinion, says expert, after 3 of his friends were found gone in his back garden. Now, this is what's interesting. The fact that they could sit here and say, oh, this is this could be a strategy to get sympathy from the public. Forget the courts of the law. Forget Lady Justice, right? Forget all that. What we really want to, what he really cares about is what everybody else thinks. And you know what? I get it. I'm sure everybody's looking at him right now. A lot of people in town, I'm sure, are just gawking at him right now. I guarantee you that. Well, not so much now, because he's, I'm sure, in a safer place in rehab, away from the public scrutiny. But what say you guys on that? I know we've talked about that before, but I had to ask you guys, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think he checked himself in so that he wouldn't be questioned by police? So that if or when, hopefully when, they bring him in for questioning, or if this turns into something where he sees himself inside a courtroom, that he could be using this later on, like, hey, he's remorseful, he's working on himself. He did check himself into rehab immediately after, weeks or so after his 3 friends passed away. He realized this was a wake-up call. He is trying to work on himself. So please, the courts, be gentle on him. It's a possibility. It's a very, very strong possibility. Okay? But I get it, because there's things like this that are popping up. And this all happened after the interview with the cousin, right? The cousin said, hey, he was out here making things for people in high school, saying, hey, if you want to feel some type of way, I can make that stuff for you. Tailor-made types of party favors just for you, right? So now we're having headlines out here saying, hey, here he is, pictured in goggles in high school, in a high school lab, right? As he claimed classmates called him the chemist for his cocktail concoctions, his party favors. In fact, hold on. Let me pull this up. I think we all need to rewatch and relive this interview again. because I do find it
A lot of times I'm
fascinating.
hearing that David Clayton and Ricky were like brothers. Jordan was kind of off on the side. True?
Jordan's a chemist, bro.
Jordan's what?
Jordan's a chemist. They all knew him as that. It was easy for them to go have fun, but he fucked up. He made a mistake. Jordan was the chemist. He's a scientist, right? He does what he needs to do. Now, to use my cousin, my best friend, as a guinea pig? No.
Okay. I want to remind you, we did get a phone call, okay, of somebody who used to know this gentleman here and said he's not the type of guy who would sit here and say things that are not true. He's a straight shooter. He says it like it is. He says what he means, and he doesn't sit here and try to muck things up. Okay. Now, let me just talk about this really quick because we've already seen this video, and you haven't seen the video, go check it out. Okay. It's in my playlist. I got a big old playlist. Go take some time, check it out for yourselves. Okay. But let me just pull his face back up really quick. Okay. Let's rap about this for 1 second. Okay. Now, just because this may be true outside of, just because this may be true, it may not apply to this particular situation. It may not. My only pushback, because I've had some time to think about this, of course. Let me just ask this really quick. If you're a known chemist, decorated, you got a lot of years under your belt, you've cut your teeth in the world of chemistry, in the world of science, you'd think you would know that Fenty is some serious ish. It is not to be played with, right? Wouldn't you instantly know not to mess with that stuff? Because like even just milligrams of that stuff in anything could wipe somebody out. Man, we've seen videos and we've heard stories of people just having contact, skin to the actual Fenty contact, getting wiped out, losing their lives just because they had their hand or their something skin to the actual chemical, right? So wouldn't this guy know better than to mix this stuff up with a heavy amount of Fenty? He is a chemist. He wasn't born yesterday. He is headlining, spearheading a huge thing for the HIV, the poke for HIV. So why would this guy ever try to make a tailor-made powder for his friends that has an incredibly heavy amount of Fenty in it? Just think about that for a second. Oh, I got something for you guys that's tailor-made. But you know for a fact that even just the tiniest pinch of that stuff, not even a pinch, it's less than a pinch, can wipe somebody out, can wipe the average person out. It just seems a bit far-fetched to me. Unless you go on the side or you err on the side of this was premeditated and he wanted to wipe his friends out. And I don't think it's that at all. You know, my opinion has ebbed and flowed, has gone up, down, to the dark side, to the good side of the force. It has gone everywhere within this case because of all the information that's being popped out. But I really don't think that, okay, I really think that what Caleb is saying is true, but I don't think it applies to this particular situation. I will say that. Now, the other question is, did Jordan supply or did somebody else? And that's the thing. Law enforcement, detectives, whoever may be involved in this investigation should be really looking into, because somebody cut that hard. Somebody cut whatever they consumed that is the thing that knocked them out. Cut that really, really hard. That is the stuff that should be taken off the streets as soon as possible. So as they are doing their thing, of course, they were very quick to turn that toxicology report around. Okay, at least a preliminary toxicology report. And we were basically able to get at the surface what were the things that were in these guys' systems. Of course, there was alcohol, there was THC, there was that booger sugar, there's Fenty as well. And I'm sure there's going to be a slew of other chemicals in there as well, just as soon as they give us the full toxicology report. But I don't know. I mean, I've heard of dumb, smart people in my life. I've met plenty of them in person too. Man, like, you smart, but you dumb, right? But I ain't never seen anybody who knows that this is not a good thing to do put something like that. I mean, if, you know, I've never known anybody to do this, but I'm just saying, if you know this is a person who's absolutely brilliant in their own craft, in the realm of chemistry, they know for a fact there is a do not touch types of stuff, devastating if consumed by human, and okay to play with, right? Why, oh why would this chemist, highly successful chemist, put something that's so devastating into a party favor and then give it to his friends and possibly consume it himself? It seems a bit idiotic, in my personal opinion. Now, I get it. Fenty is used out here to, you know, to cut the booger sugar and all that. But at the same time, a lot of these mother lovers out here in these streets are cutting too hard, which causes a lot of people to OD, causes a lot of people to lose their lives. So why would this dude, if he did it tailor-made, do it this way? Just a question that I'm going to keep asking until we get a full answer to that. And hopefully we get that answer soon. Okay? Now, Cherise said he's an educated fool. Why is that so? I'm an educated fool with money on my mind. Wow. Never mind. Gangster's paradise. Anyway, he is an educated fool. No doubt. Okay? Kids, don't do drugs. Period. Don't do it. Okay? You'll thank me later. All right? But at the same time, is he the one who did this? The other thing too, the only other pushback, I've said this in the other show too, but I'm gonna say it now again. Okay. And I appreciate all y'all for being here. I really appreciate you guys letting me, you know, just vent a tiny bit on this. But wouldn't he have a testing kit? You a chemist, you know that Fenty is running rampant out here in these streets. A lot of people are stubbing their toes when they're mixing the Fenty with the booger sugar. Real talk, to the point where people are getting very, very sick or they're losing their lives just so that they can have a good time for the night, right? He's a chemist. Wouldn't you think of using a test kit? Something that you concocted yourself just to test it to make sure that everything's pure as the driven snow, rather than it being tainted? You know, they say don't eat yellow snow, right? Wouldn't there be a thing that he could mix it up in a little test tube and go, nah, that ain't right, bro. No, we ain't touching that. Just another question. Just another question. But, you know, when you're in the throes of having a good time, I guess things change, right? Like I said, I just got many, many questions when it comes to all of that, okay? And also, it's not only on him, but he is the chemist in the group. He is the smart sciencey guy, right? So instantly I'm thinking, test the stuff. In fact, I say that to everybody else. If you do that stuff, if you partake, test your stuff. Okay? Test your stuff. But I always lean on, don't do drugs. Just don't do it. Now, of course, we've already heard from cousin, and he said what he said. And I know a lot of people are leaning hard on what the cousin said and are questioning things. Understandably, I don't blame y'all. I really don't. I'm questioning it too, right? But once we heard about the Fenty and all the other stuff that was in their system, I instantly was like, well, there could be another story here. But one thing I found very interesting is that another source close to Jordan Willis spoke out. And I wanted to share this piece right here. Okay. And this is from Alex Caparello. Hopefully I'm saying his last name right. But he said, just spoke to a source close to Jordan Willis, who is disputing the viral claims that he is a chemist who manufactured designer party favors for his friends. Source tells me he's devastated at the loss of his friends and would never make party favors for them. He's in rehab. He's in rehab voluntarily after this gigantic wake-up call, quote unquote. Says he suffered from depression and alcoholism over the past 15 years and would use party favors recreationally, but does not believe he is a, well, addict of the party favor kind. Okay? Quote unquote, he says he never manufactured anything, or this source said he never manufactured anything. That's not what he would do. That's so crazy to me that people would actually think just because of his profession that he's a mad scientist, source tells me. The whole country is pointing fingers at him, but he's had zero time to grieve. And now they're taking another life, essentially. He's never going to be able to get over this. And here's the photo again with him and the dogs. Let me just say something really quick. This is the only pushback I'm going to say about all this, because I get it. They're here to defend and try to maintain some sort of innocence for Jordan Willis. But you want to know where everything went completely belly up, where it all went to crap? Is when he didn't call 911. Okay. He didn't call 911. The first thing you do, the first thing you're supposed to do is call 911. So no matter what, it doesn't matter if he manufactured or didn't manufacture anything. This is the bed that he made. Instead of getting in front of this, he's way behind it. And then you put out a lawyer that's out here telling a different story every single time he goes on to a show. And you got the world, the court of public opinion, watching this, listening to every syllable that comes out this doggone man's mouth, Paserno. And all of it is lies. All of it there's so many inconsistencies. You did not call 911. You didn't call 911. You didn't call 911, man. The hell is wrong with you? So I don't care. You can miss me with all this nonsense of oh, he never did any of this stuff. I can't believe everybody's thinking that he's a mad scientist. You left room for people to speculate. You left room for people to come up and conjure up their own concoctions as to how this happened instead of getting in front of it as soon as possible. Shoot, let me just say this too. Regardless if he was passed out for 48 hours, as soon as he woke up and saw that his friends were gone, he should have called 911. I'm just saying. Friends and family were texting him, calling him, and all that. By the way, let me just point one more thing out. Okay? There was a specific day, I think it was the following day, around noon. He had a conversation with his pa. He had a conversation with his daddy. Even Paserno said this in an interview. He said he's receiving phone calls, robocalls, text messages that he received, but he didn't read, right? He didn't read the text messages. He received them, but he didn't read them, right? But interesting that he said that there was a phone call made to his father, or made by his father, that he picked up around noon. High noon. Okay. So he wasn't asleep for 48 hours, babies. Or whatever Paserno's out here saying is just another load of horse manure. So as much as you can sit here, I get it. Defend your man. Defend your people. Go ahead. All right? Do it because you're supposed to do that, right? You're supposed to stand on that hill and go, I'm going to down this hill because he's blood, he's family. But at the same time, look at the timeline and look at the breadcrumbs he's laid out. And it's scattered all over. It's not even in a neat line. It's just all over the place, okay? So, of course, we're all wondering. And, of course, we're all pointing fingers at him, okay? And I don't give a damn if he's had zero time to grieve. In fact, he actually did have time to grieve. If he didn't pass out and he was awake for those 48 hours, he had 48 hours to grieve. Yes, I'd like to thank the Academy. You like me. Thank you. Okay, stop. So, sorry. That's the only pushback I have. You had 48 hours. You could have called. You could have done something. You didn't. And even if you were passed out for 24 hours, you still woke up to receive a phone call from your papa. If what your lawyer's saying is true, I guarantee you Percento's watching this show going, oh, damn. Let me correct that really quick. Jordan, is it true or not? Because now Pascal's talking about it. Ruh-roh, just saying. Okay. Just saying. All right. But I do understand this is tough for anybody. On a serious tip, this is tough for anybody. Okay. This is tough for anybody to go through. You lose 3 of your friends, whether you are the one who gave them the party favors or not. It doesn't matter. It is still devastating. But you proceeded in a way, you conducted yourself in a way that looks extremely questionable for the court of public opinion. And everybody in the court of public opinion is just side-eyeing you like a mug. I'm sorry. All right? I was born during the day, but I wasn't born yesterday. Moving on. I love that phrase. I haven't said that in a long time. Feels good when it hits. But anyway, okay? So, there's a lot more we got to look into. There's a gang of videos and clips, video clips that we're going to take a look at here. And of course, let me grab these super chats really quick. But of course, before I do that, hit that like button down below. I see a bunch of y'all in here. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys being here. Seriously, I really, really appreciate your energy. It really means a lot. Without you guys, I'd be talking to a wall by myself. How's that? Okay. So hit that like button down below. Let's get it to 1K. All right. Let's just get it to 1K. Okay. So if you like how I'm telling the stories and give you guys the entertainment and the information you need, hit that like button down below. Send it to 1K on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that reaction button, please. And thank you. Because I see a bunch of y'all in the Facebook world. Okay. And hit that follow button on my hit that follow button on my Facebook page. If you're watching on X, hit that follow me on X. That would be really appreciated. And of course, hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, please and thank you. We're at 116,000 subscribers. I still can't believe that. You know what I mean? It is absolutely crazy to me. But thank you. So please, if you haven't done it yet, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I cover a lot of things on this show. It's just been a very busy time for me. I am going to see if I could do the verdict watch of the Crumbly case. Okay, Ethan Crumbly's mother is there was trial. I know that other people have been doing an incredible job covering the actual trial itself, and it's been going off the rails like crazy. But there is a verdict watch starting tomorrow on what she possibly could be getting. So I may be doing that tomorrow. So hit that subscribe button, okay? Please and thank you. All right, go check out my merch store. Thank you, Debbie. I'll pin that to the top. It's pascalmerch.com, or it's also beautifulbeefcollections.com. Go check it out. That would be greatly appreciated. Let me get this. Christy B, thank you so much for the 5. My thought was maybe they got into his personal stronger stash after he went to sleep. that would have explained a lot. You know what? Let me say that could very well be it. The theory that I have that's been floating around, I thought maybe, the guys got together. Maybe it was Jordan's stash. Maybe it was Alex's stash. Then he was like, yo, I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to beddy bye. The guys were like, all right, bet. We'll see, is it okay if we just go outside and smoke a cig and do whatever? We're not ready to leave yet. Yeah, it's cool, man. I'm just going to pass out here on the couch. Do you? They go outside. Maybe one of the boys is like, yo, I still got a little something, guys. And they take a little bump, and then boom, they get hit with it. That could very well be it too. Anything is possible. The timeline and how the series of events transpired, there's so many pathways we can go. So many. But no, I don't think these guys were addicts. I don't think that they were, like that. I think that they partied occasionally. That's what I think. Not enough for it to be a problem. But I've said that before too. I know people that friends that I've lost in the past that tried something for the first time ever, and then boom, they gone because they just took the wrong stash, right? It's their first and last time trying that booger sugar or whatever, okay? It's dangerous out here, guys. It really is. You must tread very lightly or just don't do it, man. It's as simple as that. Just don't do it. That's just my personal opinion. But Lost Little Ones, thank you so much for the 10. Fenty is real bad in Missouri. Yes, it is. Where I live, I know 2 people that passed from it since last year. Yeah. I had a funeral this weekend for a friend that I told you guys about. And that happened this Friday because of the party favors that he was taking. And it was laced as well. He and his adult film star girlfriend were found in her home, passed away because of this booger sugar. Like I said, it's a serious thing, and it's getting really bad out here. See, this is the reason why I can see why Alex Lee allegedly was texting other friends, basically saying like, hey, I'm assuming, okay, this is just me assuming. I don't know Alex, and nor do I have his text messages or anything like that. But my assumption is that he was texting other people being like, yo, this stuff is bad. It's tainted, y'all. The stash is tainted. Don't touch it. Don't touch that stuff. If you got some, whether he sold it to him or not, he may have just been giving people a warning. Don't do that, Ishmael. Don't do it. Don't touch it. Throw it away. Flush it down the toilet. Yeah, I know you lost some money, but who cares? At least you didn't lose your life. Flush it down the toilet now. Get rid of it. Don't touch it. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out here that touch this stuff on the weekends, every damn weekend. And y'all are lucky. You guys are playing Russian roulette every time. You're spinning that and just pulling, like y'all pulling the trigger. Y'all are getting lucky out here. But these cartels, these mother lovers out here that are cutting this ish, they don't care about y'all's life. They care about that instant money. They don't care about your life. They think, oh, okay, he gone, but there's going to be another one soon. Give it a week. There'll be another one wanting to buy. Okay? I'm just saying. Don't do it. I know. I'm sorry. This is not supposed to be an after-school special, but damn it. I had 2 friends. I had 2 funerals on Friday. 2 of them, y'all. Both of them were not the same. 2 completely drastically different things, but I lost 2 friends in the same day. Found out about their passing on the same day. Imagine that. Now, one of them was because of the Fenty. Another one was just because of personal health. We got to be better, and we are not invincible. And once you get to a certain age, I mean, I'm sure at some point you're going, how many summers do I have left? I know that sounds really morbid, but at the same time, I think it's a very important thing for us fellas to start thinking about. Because we like to ride it till the wheels fall off. And then once the wheels fall off, that's when we go get checked. That's when we go and see the doctor. Okay. Sometimes we don't even do that. We just let the wheel fall off and just throw on a spare and go, it'll hold. So I just say, hey, be careful out here, guys. All right? Because it's more than just the party favors as a vice. It could be any other thing out here. Get yourself checked out. Eat well. And I get it. We all like our cheeseburgers and, our cigarettes and all that stuff. I get it. But just take some time to help yourself. Life, at least keeping this body intact, is all just about maintenance. It's a little bit every day. I know. I'm sorry. I'll get off of that. But I'm just saying it's just a little bit of maintenance every day. If you could take 15 minutes of your life out of your day, every day to just stretch a little bit, okay? Or decide not to pick up that donut, or not to pick up that cigarette, or not that drink or that party favor. You saw what I'm saying? I'm telling you right now, geez, life is a lot better with you in it than you like out of it. Okay. That's all I'm saying. All right. Okay. And guys, because I know all of us are working our butts off and we get stressed out very easily and all that stuff. Find something that's healthy that releases that tension. If that's jumping rope for 15 minutes, yoga. I know that's, it's fem. No, it's very good for you. Okay. You don't want to be freaking 60 years old in, using a walker and you're all crouched out like this. Trust me, it's not sexy. That ain't sexy. Okay. And that's uncomfortable as hell. So take just 10, 15 minutes out of your day to take care of yourself and make sure that this thing in here is pumping right. That's it. That's it. You can still be a manly man, okay? You can still be a manly man. Just take care of yourself. You can still be a womanly woman. You know what I mean? However you perceive yourself in whatever category you are in, okay? Just take care of yourselves. All right? Okay. I'm sorry. And don't do drugs. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again. Don't do it. Okay? Don't. So, we got a couple things I want to share with you guys. All right? Got a couple things. One, there's an interview that Nancy Grace had with one of the guy's brothers. So I wanted to share that video with you guys. And of course, there's the expert that I wanted to share with you guys as well. There's some other videos that has happened over the past couple days too. I want to share with you as well. So we got a little bit of catch up. We got a lot of catch up to do because, like I said, it's been a very busy 2 days. But yes, you're right, Delana. Yes, stress is a silent killer. And I'm telling you right now, again, guys, because I know, and ladies and gentlemen, okay, find something that's going to release that tension, something that is healthy. It's not cigarettes. It's not alcohol. It's most definitely not these party favors. Find something, whether it's walking for 10 minutes every day outside, get some sunlight, get that vitamin D in you, okay? Seriously, just do whatever it is. Then go on with your day. But just take some time for yourself. That's all. It may not fix everything, but at least it's a step in the right direction. Okay? So, let me share with you guys this video. Hold on. Now, I'm not going to show you, I'm going to show bits and pieces of it because honestly, it's Nancy Grace and all that. But I did hear this and I thought this was interesting. Then there's other family members of other men that have of the other men that have been speaking out as well, that are basically saying like there's more to this. There's got to be more to this, and you know, they may be right. So let's take a look at Miss Nancy Grace. Okay. Okay. So you're going to be able to hear her, but I'm not. You see what I'm saying? I'm just playing audio. Okay, guys? Just a heads up.
First, to Jonathan Price. This is Ricky Johnson's brother. Jonathan, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Nancy.
Jonathan, first of all, we've been praying for you, your brother, your family, and the other victims since we first heard about this. It's hard for me to believe they froze to death, given what I know about the temperatures during those 2 days. But I'll get to that later. I want to hear from the beginning how this debacle, this odyssey, started for you.
Well, I was working the Wednesday after, and my brother called me and gave me the news. You know, and the information he shared with me is not very far off from what I have now, 3.5 weeks later, which is very sad. So, I mean, just like you said there, you know, ever since then we've been trying to find answers as much as we can.
What did your brother say to you?
Well, he told me that I have some bad news to share, and I don't want it to be like this because we don't live very close. So it's not like you know, he could just come down and tell me, which made it even more difficult. And he told me that Ricky passed away, and they're not sure why. They just found his body. So to both of us, nothing made sense right off the bat. And 3.5 weeks later, we're still in the same boat, Nancy. So
Jonathan, at the very beginning, what were you told about what happened?
Well, from the very beginning, all the reports and everything, which is the only people we've actually heard from is media. Especially in the first week, 2 weeks, we never heard anything from the police, but that they froze to death. And that's why we've been so outspoken from the very beginning, is because that is not a cause of death I would ever accept. You know, my brother was a smart man. He ran a large portion of his father's construction company. He was at work all the time. You know, that it doesn't make any sense. And he had 3 daughters that he looked forward to seeing as much as he could. So how would he put himself in a situation to freeze to death?
Okay, so one thing I do feel that when it comes to this interview, I don't know if he knows everything as of yet during this particular interview, as far as the toxicology report or the preliminary toxicology report being released and all that. I don't know if he knows all that stuff as of yet, but still, no matter what, his complaint, his frustrations, let's just say, have not changed. He's basically saying, hey, police have not been very transparent with us, etc. This is very frustrating. I don't know why this happened. He has 3 daughters. Those three little girls do not have a dad anymore. Someone has to explain to them why he is no longer here, why their father isn't here any longer. I mean, it's some serious stuff. But I do know that there are a lot of family members that are not really down for not very down for the information that they've received. That they're saying like, hey, you know, this stuff is not enough. This report is not enough for me. There's more to this. Now, let me just grab that really quick. Yep. So I wanted to share this with you guys as well. This is another one. But it is not, I mean, nonetheless, the interview with Nancy Grace is interesting, but, you know, it is kind of the same interview that we have seen from other, you know, on other platforms like Cuomo, like Banfield, like Fox News as well. They've been following this and watching this like crazy. So it is interesting nonetheless.
3 Kansas City men found dead in their friend's backyard. We now understand from the reporting that there was cocaine and fentanyl in their system, okay? Fentanyl, probably the deadliest drug in our midst, all right? It's been 24 hours since that reporting came out. But still, why were they outside when they were taking it? What about the friend who survived? How did they get fentanyl in their system? The police say this is 100% not a homicide investigation. That means that they don't believe that someone negligently, recklessly, or intentionally caused this killing, this death. Let's bring in the first family members to speak out since the report, okay? The father and stepmother of victim David Harrington. Now, you may take exception to that and say, he's not a victim. He did this. I think it's an open question. Teresa and John Harrington, thank you both for joining us. I'm very sorry for your family's loss. But Teresa, how does this information, what does it mean to you about what matters here?
What matters is that he didn't take that to die. Something happened between either that was given to him. It just means that there's more to the story. There's more to it than just that. He didn't take the drugs to get dead. If he took the drugs on his own, he took them to get high.
That's very true. I mean, obviously I don't see that, but that's the thing. I will say this, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that don't agree with me on this, and that's fine. But I really don't think that this is something as sinister as some people, you know, in the social media streets are thinking. I think that they literally took this to feel good, to take things up a notch, to party. I think that they partied. I don't think that they were forced to take this against their will. I think they knowingly took this stuff, knowing that they were going to have or at least try to have a good time. They weren't over there at midnight on a Sunday night doing the Lord's work. They weren't reading the Bible. And I know I've made that comment before, but let's be real. Think about it for a second. They went there to consume more alcohol, hang out, kick it, and be boys. So I don't think it was anything sinister like that. I think they took it, and then something bad happened because of how much Fenty was in there. But that's just my theory. I really don't think it was Jordan going, okay, I guess a concoction. I'm going to try it on the guys. You know, all diabolical. I don't think that. I don't think that at all. I think they took it. It was already cut when they bought it, when they received it. Who provided the cocaine? That's the question that needs to be answered.
So I think there's more to the story.
John, do you believe that these were drugs that the fellas brought with them that night, or do you believe they got them there that night?
I really don't know, but my thinking is that they got them there.
And why does that change the analysis for you?
Because somebody gave them something that would kill them.
Hold on real quick. It's interesting to see Cuomo scratch himself. But let me just grab these comments really, really quick, because I think that you guys are just dropping some serious things. Okay. First off, Kelly, thank you so much for the comment. I agree, Pascal. They were grown-ass men and made their own decision. They alone should be held accountable. So sick of everyone thinking of other people are other people are responsible for others. Yes, I do agree to a certain extent. Yes, they are responsible for their own decisions, but at the same time, whoever sold them this stuff should be brought in, should be questioned, should be detained, because no matter what, that person is also selling tainted party favors out here in these streets. The other thing is they need to take that person off the streets, get that particular product off the street. Whoever that person is, whoever is the cartel or the higher ups that push this particular weight out here, they need to be taken down, etc. I'm hoping that this is something that it turns into a domino effect and it spreads like wildfire, getting the people who are selling this stuff off the streets and getting the product off the streets if it was product bought from outside of Jordan's home. Okay, that's something that I think is really important. But I do agree. Yes, these are grown men that made this decision themselves, for sure. I agree. But at the same time, they were knowingly taking something that they thought was clean. There are laws here in Missouri where if it is laced, the person who has administered it could be looking at some serious charges as well. Who actually sold them the stuff could be looking at some serious charges. So that's why it's like, okay, yes, they made that decision themselves. They're the late 30s grown men. They've been on this planet for a very long time. But the people who actually sold that stuff to them should be brought in for questioning, detained, brought in for questioning, charged with something, and hopefully some sort of deal comes out where they start squealing, they start squawking. Okay, but that's just something I wanted to point out. But at the same time, I will also say this too, just on that part. The problem is that Jordan had the opportunity to make things right, to right the course, and he didn't. He decided to hide, to pick up a phone call from his father, but not respond to any text messages, phone calls that were made by loved ones, and hide in his house for 48, 50 hours. That's asinine, in my personal opinion. This makes it worse, and that makes the responsibility light shine on Jordan even more. Also, yes, Toro, thank you so much for the comment. Jordan did have too much to lose. Yes, he had a lot to lose. This is the worst situation to have happen in his house, especially with what he does, etc. It's bad. He could lose his job. I'm sure he's already lost his job at this point, okay, because of everything. But at the same time, shouldn't have. He shouldn't have done what he did. The choices he made were very, very lackluster. Real talk. Dory, thank you so much for the 5. Hi, Pascal and family. At my parents watching, thank you so much. It's their 57th anniversary. Wow. Congratulations. 57 years, long time. Love your show too. Hey, we love you. Thank you so much for watching the show at your parents' 50s, while celebrating your parents' 57th anniversary. That's beautiful. Wow. How does that work? How did it work for 57 years? I want to know. Is there a trick? Is there a special code? ABBA, up, down, up, down? I want to know. Okay. I think all of us want to know, right? How to keep a lasting marriage. That's amazing. Muggsy, thank you so much for the 5. God gave us one body. It's a gift. Take care of it as a temple. Their Venmo account speaks volumes. Interesting. First off, yes, I agree. We only have one body. We have it for only one time, allegedly. Okay, depending on what your beliefs are, we got only one time, and it is truly a gift. And the human body is dope if you know how to treat it well. If you treat it well, it will treat you well. Okay, so yes, take care of it as a temple. It is very true. Then Venmo account speaks volumes. Interesting. I have yet to hear anything about a Venmo account, but I know that the police are going through their phones and all that just to see if there's any activity on there that could explain maybe a little bit of a timeline before these men passed away in that backyard. And so hopefully the Venmo, CashApp, Zelle, PayPal, whatever they used maybe there's something in there that could explain what happened here. So Muggsy, good point. Very, very good point. Let's continue on here, though. Let me finish this.
Right. And then the problem with this situation is, well, then why is Jordan Willis alive? Although maybe it explains why he was asleep for 2 days. And why did someone else escape with their life, but not these 3 gentlemen? And how did they wind up, your son and 2 others, outside when this was happening? Teresa, where does your mind take you on those questions?
David wasn't a drug addict or anything like that. Peer pressure, you know, Jordan Willis is in rehab. He could have, I don't know, the peer pressure of taking, you know, hey, I'm going to take this. You guys want some? And they went outside because they were warm or something like that. And, you know, he stayed inside. They went outside and they, you know, passed out outside.
Again, just because he's not an addict does not mean he doesn't partake from time to time. Another thing, too, is that, yes, these are his parents. And of course, they are going to say certain things of what they know about their son. But do they truly 110% know their son? I feel like it's the same thing on any person that you know. Your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your son, your daughter, all that stuff. You're not with them 24/7. You know, you're not omnipresent. You're not everywhere they are and know exactly what goes on in their head or what they do behind certain closed doors. You don't know. All you know is what you know. And that's fair and that's understandable. But at the same time, you can't really say, I know for a fact, just because he's not an addict does not mean he doesn't partake from time to time. Yes, peer pressure is real, and it is even real within friends that are of a certain age. There is peer pressure, like Jessica Moon just said. Yes, there is peer pressure for sure, even for men who are almost 40 years old, which is still surprising to me. But at the same time, boys will be boys from time to time. And this could very well be that thing where he said, let me try it. F it, I'm here with my friends. I'm in a safe environment. Let me just try it. Let me partake. And then boom, bad things happen. It's very possible. It is very, very possible. Okay. But I also will say you don't really truly know the 110% of that person that you call your spouse, your best friend or whatever. There's a lot of other stuff. There's still that, it's like an iceberg. There's still that 90% mass under the water that you may not know, you know, that constructs the full personality or the person that you brought into the world. Unfortunately, those are just kind of the breaks, unfortunately. Dory, I just wanted to point this out because I did ask, how did they make this 57 years happen? They just said, and I had to grab this. My dad is thinking of an answer. I thought he was just going to say, happy wife, happy life, you know, something very Hallmark Cardi type of thing, but he didn't, and I appreciate that. LOL, he said, because I went to AA and stopped drinking and grew up. Boom. You know what? Very nicely done. Very nicely done. I mean, that you know, that can definitely help a relationship for sure. Okay, for sure. Let's continue here. I appreciate thank you, Dory's dad, for sharing that. That's I really do appreciate that. And thank you so much for your transparency on that. It's not easy for people to talk about those kinds of things out loud. So thank you so much.
Maybe.
I mean, it's very consistent with fentanyl, right? I mean, what fentanyl does is it slows down your breathing so much that you can very easily pass out and be unaware of the cold.
Right, exactly. And then some of those drugs warm your body up, and you don't feel cold as quickly, and you can succumb to hypothermia pretty quick.
What does it mean to you that the police are saying, Ms. Harrington, that this is not a homicide investigation? They are not looking at this as this being someone's fault criminally.
We keep getting answers that they're still investigating. So there's something there that they're saying maybe that's not right as well, but they don't have enough to charge or, you know, interrogate someone a little deeper.
Right.
Um,
And
Yeah.
John, lastly, you know, it's not a criticism, it's an observation. If your son and these other men got these drugs, there could be more of these drugs. They could be in other people's hands that they aren't aware also. And John, does that give you some cause for concern that the authorities should be more vocal to the community to be careful? It's not like fentanyl isn't a problem in the community.
It really does.
where innocent people can die.
Right, Teresa? I mean, that's the concern. I mean, people need to be aware. No one and nowhere is
Right.
safe from fentanyl as a drug unlike any we've ever seen. And I hope that
Exactly.
this situation winds up being a cautionary tale for people to be careful. Your son's life matters, and hopefully it will have meaning even in this situation.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that that is the case here too. You know, I'm hoping that this turns into something that maybe it turns into a movement. Maybe it turns into something more, because we do need something that is, there needs to be something that's going to eradicate this stuff off the streets. There's got to be something. Like, I'm hoping that these men and other people's lives, their deaths are not in vain. Remember, these three men are not the only three men that have lost their lives due to having Fenty in their system. There's plenty other people out here that have lost their lives in such horrific ways because they tried it for the first time, or because they're a novice in the game, or they are an absolute freaking expert in the game. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care if it's your first time or your millionth time. It doesn't care if you have money. It doesn't care if you're black or white. It doesn't care. It's just taking people out, young, old, etc. It's terrible, but it is out here and it needs to be stopped. So not only just these three men, but all the other ones, all the people, all our loved ones that we have lost over the past couple years because of this surge of Fenty in these party favors. Somebody needs to stomp their foot down on this thing and stop this stuff from being out here. Real talk. But that was just one video. I got more, guys. Okay? Because it is crazy. Now, I told you guys that there was going to be a conversation about, let me just cue this up, a conversation about Dr. Baden and his conversation about this whole thing as well. I think what he says is very fascinating. So I wanted to share that with you guys, as well. Remember, let me show you his face. Let me see if I can find a still his. Okay. I got a still of his face. Let me show you guys Dr. Baden or Baden. I don't know how to pronounce it, and I'm sure they're going to correct me here in a second. But he's the same guy who said, hey, they could very well have froze to their demise. There's a good possibility that they took something, and then when they passed out, they weren't able to get themselves into the house. So the cold weather drops their heart rate, etc., goes into hypothermia, and they pass away, right? And then they could literally have froze to their demise. So he says some things in here that I thought were interesting. So before we get into that, just a quick reminder. We talked about the amount of Fenty that was in their system. They said there was units of 10, I guess, a unit of 10 or a level of 10 would take out just the regular average Joe. Regular average man, 10 would knock him out. They had 3 times that amount. They had 30 in their system. Now, I want to remind you guys the amount of Fenty in just is breadcrumbs. It's a pinch. It's less than a pinch of salt. Okay, it's almost like a dust. It's like flakes of dust. Okay, it's ridiculous how minimal it is that can take somebody out if it's in a stash, right? Now, we all are wondering, well, if it's 10, does that apply to everyone, to every man, Or can you build a tolerance or whatever to this kind of thing? He says a lot here in this interview, and I'm going to be jumping in and out of this because of fair use and all that crap. But he had some things to say that, at least to me, sparked some questions for myself. So let's take a look at this. Please and thank you. And guys, don't forget to hit that like button down below if you can. We're working on trying to get to 1K. All right. A like don't cost a thing. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be back with you guys. I missed you guys for the past 48 hours. So I'm happy to be here with you guys on this Sunday. And hopefully this is all, some of these things are not things you haven't seen yet. Okay. But I know that I'm sure other people have been covering these things already. But this piece here, I think, is very interesting. And it may muddy up the waters a little bit, but it may not, you know? So let's take a look at this.
Reportedly detected in the toxicology results of those 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans found frozen to death last month, the beginning of January, after that watch party.
So this is what we know. These are only preliminary results, but sources with direct knowledge of the case tell TMZ that other substances may surface once the official results come out. We know that the family members of those fans who died have a copy of the report, but they have not confirmed what it says.
I really wish, I mean, I don't want them to get messy or anything, but I'm still wondering, I still would love to hear them say, like, just put it out there. Just leak it. Leak the full toxicology report so we could just see, or at least the preliminary toxicology report, so we could just see it all. Because they say that there's multiple chemicals that were found in these men's bodies as well. It's not only just Fenty, THC, that booger sugar and all that, and alcohol, of course, because I mean they were drinking. Shoot, they reports are saying that they saw 2 men walk in with 30 packs of beer going into that house. Now, I know for 5 guys, if there really were just 5 guys in that house, that's 6 beers each. That's still quite a bit of beer, especially at 12. If you're still drinking it around 11, 12 o'clock at night, that's still a lot of beers. You're not planning on going home anytime soon. Let's just keep it a buck, okay? So I'm hoping that they leak that stuff very, very soon.
All right, this comes after we learned that Jordan Willis, the host of the party, checked himself into rehab. He is not currently facing any charges, and police insist the deaths are not being investigated as homicides. But should they be? Let's bring in Dr. Michael Bodden. He's right here, pathologist, Fox News contributor. Dr. Bodden.
This isn't Fox and Friends, is it? I don't know these shows, but usually when they have that kind of setup, where is it? Like this? Isn't it like Fox and Friends or something? I don't know, but I digress. Let me just, Dr. Bodden. It's Dr. Bodden. So let's get into it.
Should they be? Let's bring in Dr. Michael Bodden. He's right here, pathologist, Fox News contributor. Dr. Bodden, this revelation, we thought about drugs. Right. Reasonable people thought it was drugs. What does this tell you? Cocaine and fentanyl.
As Lauren said, we have to wait for the official report to come out, but it appears at this time that...
Oops. And by the way, my bad. It's 60 beers. I was thinking only 30 beers in my head. But still, that's 12 beers. That's a lot of beers. I'm sorry, that's a lot of beers. I don't know about you guys, but that's a whole lot of beers. 60 beers, 5 guys at that party, allegedly. That's 12 beers each, guys. That's a lot of beers. Okay? A lot. So they definitely were not out here just hanging out and just chilling. They were planning on having a good night. And if that's true, and let's not forget, they were probably doing shots of liquor, doing shots, drinking beer, having a grand old time. Maybe they all had the day off the next day. I don't know. Or they were like, hey, F it, I'll have an epic hangover tomorrow. I just want to have a good time. I don't know. But that's a lot of beers for each person if all of them were consuming the beers. You see what I'm saying? But alcohol poisoning, I don't know about that.
There was fentanyl and other drugs present. Fentanyl is used by doctors because it's a powerful painkiller. And one of the side effects is making a person sleepy. And what happened here, I think, could have been that the four of them used the drugs together. The one fellow who comes in and sleeps on the couch indoors sleeps it off.
2 days.
For a while, more than 24 hours, right? Whereas the other three get sleepy and pass out outside. And because of the weather and because of the snow, their body temperature drops very quickly from 98 degrees to 80 degrees, at which point, less than an hour, the heart can't beat anymore accurately, so they die of a cardiac arrest due to hyperthermia. It is very unusual for 3 people using or 4 people using drugs together to die simultaneously from fentanyl.
He said it's very odd. He's saying it's very odd for them to have passed away in the same way because of the Fenty use. Interesting. Very interesting. Like I said, this is, could this be muddying up the waters for all y'all's theories out here? I mean, again, it could very well be that. It could very well be these guys froze to their demise. But not without the help of Fenty. Not without the help of all the other chemicals that were in their system as well. Something made them pass out. Something made them slump to the ground or sit in a chair. It wasn't just because they were just cold and tired. They would have put themselves inside the house. Toot sweet. So it doesn't make sense.
The effects on people varies a great deal. So it's less likely to be overdoses and more likely to be hypothermia caused by passing out from the fentanyl.
What does that tell you then?
Wow.
If all 4 of them experienced, he fell asleep on the sofa. Thankfully, he wasn't outside at the time. The other 3 were. What does that tell you about the power, how powerful these drugs are?
We don't know what all the drugs are. Fentanyl is the most powerful of these drugs mentioned. And it varies a great deal. There was something in the paper about somebody having a 30. The fentanyl is measured in micrograms. Very small amount, causes a lot of... at 30, some people will die 30, and other people can go up to 100 or 200 and not die.
That's really interesting. So some people can... It's all about tolerance, right? It's all about what you're capable of doing. Let's not forget. It's the same thing if you consume alcohol. There's people out here that just drink 1 beer, and it's a wrap. It's a wrap. They're the ones with half naked with the with the lampshade on, right? And then there's other people that can just pound the drinks, no problems whatsoever. Don't give me no shots of tequila. Some people say, or I'll just go freaking crazy. So I know that's alcohol, but at the same time, I guess that's the same thing. Those rules or that theory still applies to fentanyl. It's just interesting, right? That's very, very, very interesting that you can just do, some people can do levels of 100. And I will say this, we got to remember what they're saying right now, at least that the things that have been leaked from sources, we don't know whose autopsy or whose toxicology report has come out saying that they had a level of 30. Did they all 3 have level of 30? You also got to remember too, look at the fellas. Let's not forget Ricky, David, and Clayton. They're all physically different. Clayton is a skinny guy. David, Ricky, not so much. So maybe his level was a lot smaller than the others, or maybe more. I don't know. But I keep thinking that maybe it has to do with size, etc. I don't know. But it is interesting, nonetheless, what we're hearing from Dr. Bodden. It is something to think about. Everything is still on the table. Every possibility is still on the table here. We can't forget that. But this is fascinating nonetheless.
It varies on the individuals. So it'd be extremely unusual for a true overdose to kill them, but they would all get sleepy. And if they pass out in the snow, they die. One of the factors is it's a painless death. They don't have any pain when they pass out, or they don't have any pain from the cold.
So, Doc.
Interesting, though. Wouldn't you say? Interesting. Crystal said, tolerance can outweigh BMI. That, you got a point there too. You got a point there too. If you are brand new to the game, for lack of a better term, a pinch of salt could take you out, right? A pinch of Fenty can take you out. But if you're not new to the game, it may take you more. But these guys had 30 in their system. So still, I mean, that's a lot. Okay. In comparison to what they say, the amount, like all you need is 10 allegedly to knock you out. And these guys had 30. So it does make you wonder how much, are these guys novices or are they pros? I don't know.
We know we're in the middle of a drug crisis, and if the report is true that they were mixing the cocaine with fentanyl, there was a report and it was a bulletin done by the DA, and they unclassified this. And the concern was people were using cocaine and fentanyl based together because they were using the fentanyl to substitute for the heroin. Why would people think that fentanyl is heroin? What type of effect? Because they sent this to all the medical examiners because people were dropping like flies. What makes them the same?
Well, fentanyl and fentanyl both are laboratory-made chemical drug narcotics, and they both have similar effects. But fentanyl is much stronger than heroin, and heroin is much stronger than morphine, which is the original one. But when they're mixed with cocaine, sometimes addicts will mix a downer. Fentanyl is a downer, makes you go to sleep. Cocaine is an upper, and some drug users think if you mix them together, it makes it safer, and that's not true.
I think it's another way of them just trying to get their stuff, trying to stretch their stuff, trying to stretch that powder as much as they can. It's just another way of cutting it so that they can keep pushing more, they can keep selling more, but it's another way of cutting it down so that the supplier can make more money, so that they can get more out of the product that they originally bought. That's what I think. You look at things where, you look at the crack epidemic, right? They'll take something and they'll mix it up, and they're like cutting it down, and to the point where, it's not even at its purest form anymore, right? They just keep cutting it and cutting it and cutting it and cutting it. That's why, you hear in movies like, this, they put something in this and blah, blah, blah. Not Fenty, but other stuff, they cut it with something. This is ridiculous. They use some, I forgot what they said. Like they used a diuretic or something crazy like that. You know what I mean? Oh, this is crap. Blah, blah, blah. It's true. The dealer wants to make as much money as they can off of the supply that they bought. So they get the Fenty, they get whatever to use, and they cut it all the way down. They keep cutting it so that they can sell as much as they can off of that brick that they bought or whatever that they bought, right? It is pretty, yes, baby laxatives. Yes, baby lax. Yo, they put laxatives in his that kind of stuff, right? And that's very, very true. So same thing when it comes to, you hear about Fenty. When you see and hear about Fenty being in this, is because there's a lot of people a lot of these bad guys out here that are trying to stretch that dollar, stretch that product so that they can make more of that dollar. I got a couple other videos for you guys.
Well, the mystery is deepening around these three men found dead in their friend's backyard 2 days after they went to his home to watch the Kansas City Chiefs game. This is brand new video from the police the night that they discovered the bodies. It shows them handcuffing Jordan Willis, who lives at the home, and says he was inside mostly sleeping for 2 days while his friends' bodies were in the backyard.
Now, that's interesting, though. Again, he was detained. He was detained, and then he was later let go. Same night. They went in through his house. I guess the cops saw nothing of foul play inside the house. They just randomly see 3 men in the backyard, and they said this is an open and shut case. It is what it is. What happened had happened, right? So they uncuffed this man, and they let him on his merry little way. But what's interesting is I'm still wondering if I'm sure they didn't have him come in and do a drug test. I'm sure they didn't have him do anything of that sort. They said, okay, it is what it is outside. What we see in the backyard is what it is. These guys clearly did something that took them out. It is what it is. But it's weird because I'm going to say it, and we're going to continue with the video, but you cannot tell me that there's not anything suspicious about 3 grown men being dead in the backyard. You cannot tell me that there isn't grounds for bringing this man in and detaining him for a little bit while you do a little bit more due diligence to find out what actually happened to these 3 men who mysteriously, quote unquote, froze to their demise in the backyard. Like, you see what I'm saying? Because this is the main reason why the whole world, man, this is international. We have people in here from Switzerland, okay? Switzerland watching the show, okay? You're telling me this is the reason why everybody's like, wait a second, this don't make any sense. And why is this guy free to do whatever the hell he wants any old time? That doesn't make sense. You have 3 men gone. You didn't hold him. You didn't bring him in. You didn't let him hold him overnight just to see what was going on, interrogate him, take any type of tests on him, just to see if he has anything in his system, because there's 3 men that are gone mysteriously in the backyard. You're not asking the questions that need to be asked. I'm just saying, like, what the flim farm filth is going on here? The math ain't mathin'. This is the reason why everybody's looking at this, and not only just because he didn't do anything for 48, 50 hours, which is insane, but let's not forget, there is 3 men in the backyard that are gone. Doesn't matter if it is open and shut case of these guys ODing, for example, then why aren't you treating this as such? Why aren't you bringing this guy in and questioning the hell out of him? First and foremost, where did you get the drugs? Where do you get those chemicals? Who's your supplier? Did you supply it, or was it one of the guys that are in the backyard that supplied it? Tell us what's going on so we can get this stuff off the streets. 3 men are gone. It just come on, man. Like, that's stupid. This is ridiculous, and it's like no one cares. Well, let's move on. I'm telling you right now, if this was a different situation, this would be a totally different outcome. Totally different outcome. Jordan would have been locked up. He would have been probably let go, but he would have been brought in. Oh, it's just a whole bunch of boys will be boys. Moving on. What? 3 men are gone. They died in the same night. Probably within minutes of each other. And you're not asking the hell happened here? That's so weird, guys. That is so odd to me. Okay? I'm going to play a little bit more of this real quick, and then I'm going to get to the super chats, and I really do appreciate all your support. It really does mean a lot. One thing before we continue, hit that like button down below, okay? We're trying to get to 1K, all right? We're trying to get to 1K. So hit that like button down below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that reaction button, please and thank you. Don't forget, go check out PascalMerch.com, okay? It is pinned to the top of the chat on YouTube, or it's in the description box down below or above wherever you're watching this show right here. Okay, go check it out. All right, but still, what the flim farm filth is going on here? That's weird, y'all. This was a situation that was different. This would be if this was this would be a completely different situation. The outcome would be so different. You understand this would not be national, international news right now if the shoe was on the other foot. I'm telling you right now, this would be a story and then moved right on. But given the fact that this is how police have decided to conduct themselves in this situation, it is so odd. It is so odd, y'all. Come on now. This would be like, okay, 3 men found gone, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's so sad. Moving on. In today's weather, and it would be just nothing. But you got 3 men in the backyard and they didn't do a doggone, not a damn ting. It's so weird, man. It's weird. It's weird. Moving on.
A witness says that Willis was eventually uncuffed. They say he is not considered a suspect and that this is not being investigated as a homicide, according to police, who were told that handcuffing like this is not uncommon in this type of situation. So as we await the autopsy results in the deaths of these 3 men, let's get some insight from John Walsh, host of America's Most Wanted, which airs Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Episodes also available on Fox Nation. John Walsh, great to have you with us.
Yeah, I wanted you guys to see this because, of course, this is John Walsh. He's going to be putting in his 2 cents. And, of course, if you don't know about his show, America's Most Wanted, I mean, it was a huge show in the 80s and 90s. And, of course, he's still got his show. Yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting to hear his 2 cents on everything.
Great to have the new show on Fox. Thank you so much for being with us. So what is your take on what happened here?
A lot of things could have happened. So we're waiting for the toxicology report. Nowadays, police move cautiously. The one thing they don't want to do is spook a possible suspect. They got to prepare a case for the DA because so many DAs in America let people go right away, let them go with no bond and they go. So if he did something, if he gave his friends some kind of drug, maybe he did it accidentally. All over America now, the gangs are getting fentanyl from the cartels and making their own opioids. They have pill makers, they have everything. So you can go on Snapchat and it's horrible. And there are guys on there that say, here's the menu of the day. You got heroin, meth, all the drugs and opiates. I did a case of a 17-year-old girl was studying for college boards in her finals as a senior. She read an article that college kids use Adderall to stay up and study. She saw it on Snapchat. She used her mother's credit card, and Amazon, I think it was Amazon, delivered the pill to her house. And an hour later, she was dead.
Now, one thing I want to say is that this is very true. We just talked about this in another case. Savannah Soto, Matthew Guetta. He was the plug. He had the hookup. He would promote his business on social media. And there's plenty of people that will sit there on Snapchat and they'll just put up a plug emoji. And that's their sign of like, hey, I got the hookup. Holla if you need me kind of thing. And they'll literally just put that stuff out. Blatant display. Yes, LNC, some of them will do that. Menu of the day. And it'll all be code words, but it'll be all there. If you need it, I got you. Seriously. And that's how people are getting their stuff. That's how they're getting hooked up. That's how they're reaching out to certain people, blah, blah, blah. Instead of them, getting phone calls, etc., this is how they're responding to people. Yo, you got that thing? Yeah, I got you. What's good? Could we meet at this place? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I got you. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's just how it's done. It's true, and it is very real. We just saw that same situation with the Matthew Guetta, Savannah Soto situation. He was moving weight, and he was letting people know that he had weight to move. Now, we still don't know yet on why why they both lost their lives, why that 19-year-old kid took their lives. We don't know that part yet, right? And Fabian, let's not forget the little boy. that was just about to be brought into this world. Let's not forget all that stuff. But we don't know if it was because he was out here boasting or it was a deal that went bad. We don't know. But the same thing, social media, promoting their stuff, going, yo, I got the plug. I got the hookup. I'm about to re-up. Let me know type stuff. It's real. It's crazy, but it's real.
Now, that mother found 16 other mothers that bought stuff on Snapchat, and they're trying to sue them, but there's a law that was passed by this administration that you can't sue a tech company. So these companies are hiding behind that. But this guy, if he's dirty, they don't want him to run. You know, they make mistakes and drive the guy out and he goes. Maybe he's a serious druggie and entered rehab. Maybe it's not unusual that a drug guy will sleep
Very
for 24
weird though that
hours.
all three of them died, probably within the same time frame. I mean, they were found 48 hours later. There's one report that one of them was on a lawn chair.
Yeah.
One of their girlfriends showed up at the house 2 days later because she was frantically trying to reach the homeowner and her boyfriend. So she went over to find out what was going on and found all of these people dead. I mean, if they also, one of them had a pharmaceutical license.
Yeah.
I did not know about the pharmaceutical license. That is interesting. And I'm wondering which one had the pharmaceutical license. Huh. That's interesting.
So, I mean, obviously the toxicology is going to have a lot of answers here.
Because they might have all taken the same thing and just passed out and died. And the creep inside who wasn't coming out. I know lots of guys that are addicted to drugs that we catch. They'll be meth addicts or they'll take something. They'll sleep for 24 hours or longer than 24 hours. So not unusual that this guy stayed inside. It was freezing. Maybe he didn't see those guys outside. I know the cops are waiting on the toxicology, and I'll bet whoever provided that, one of the three guys that died outside or the guy in the house, or they all took something. I think it was a mixed batch because they're putting fentanyl in every drug.
It's so crazy.
Yep. And I agree. There was another video I saw as well. Somebody explained it. I think it was Jennifer Coffindaffer. Shout out to Jennifer Coffindaffer. But she said something about the possibility of it being like the chocolate chip cookie effect. Like, as you're biting into a chocolate chip cookie, it's not all just one big chocolate chip, right? It's just pieces of chocolate chip in the cookie. And then sometimes you bite into the chocolate chip cookie and you get a lot of chocolate chips. And then sometimes you bite and you don't get much of anything except for the cookie. There is that theory of maybe, maybe they dug into something that had a more condensed amount of Fenty in that particular batch that they got, whatever. I mean, and again, that's still a theory. Like I said, it's still a theory. I don't think these theories are wrong, right? The other thing too, yes, Natasha Key, yes, he woke up real quick for the police dough. He didn't wake up for anybody else except for 5-0. Ain't that very coincidental? Don't you think? And again, yeah, it could very well be just a really bad batch of whatever they got, right? But I'm going to play some for you guys in just a little bit, okay, for you guys to rewatch and consume and see with your own two eyes again, because it still pushes back any of these theories. It pushes back any of these theories. Hold on one second. Mimi, thank you so much for the $1. Or the 1 Swiss franc. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Dominique, thank you so much for the 5. Speculation warning. Okay. So Jordan may have started his party well before the game, the game hangout time, then fell asleep. The others, weekend party goers, with the last call vibes. I don't know. Maybe. He may have been partying all day, and then he went to the game kind of lit, partied over there for a little bit, went over with the guys, come on over to my place. It's a Sunday, there's no other place we can go to continue to tie one on, but I got a place. I got the hookup. Come through. Maybe. Crystal Powell, thank you so much for the 10. They passed from ventricular tachycardia I don't know how to pronounce that. I apologize. But an acute respiratory failure due to a mixture of the party favors. By the way, I'm a nurse who works with Fenty every day. Let me just say, I sucks. If you're dealing with Fenty on the, on a professional level, that's one thing. But if you're dealing with Fenty ODs and Fenty cases, that's really, really tragic. I got to be honest. But yeah, that could very well be what it is too. It's a acute respiratory failure due to the mixture of all the stuff that was in their system. That could very well be it. That definitely could be it. They could have just been partying so hard. That's it. That could have been too. But the fact that they had that level of Fenty in their system, it does tell us something. It's the cause of whatever later on happened to them. If they were sober as a judge, okay? If they were sober as hell, they would not be found passed away in the backyard. So they must have been partying. They were going hard in the paint, guys. Hard in the paint, So Cheryl Brown, thank you so much for the $279 Canadian dollars. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Madeline, thank you so much for the 10. I'm willing to bet that because of tolerance, Jordan was the first to pass out and the guys after. Guarantee Jordan would have passed away that night as well if he hadn't passed out first. Interesting. That's an interesting theory. Tolerance. Well, see, that's the thing. You say, I'm willing to bet because of tolerance, Jordan was the first to pass out. If he, and then the guys after. Now, if you're saying he didn't have much tolerance, that's why he passed out, that's a possibility. But if he had more tolerance than the guys, he'd be wide awake the entire time. Or, he wouldn't be as affected off the bat. And then, you see what I'm saying? Then the guys who don't have much tolerance, they would have just passed out. But I see what you're saying. Okay? I do see what you're saying. Guarantee Jordan would have passed away that night if he hadn't passed out first. I think I see what you're saying though, but I do think that he would have passed. I think he would have passed away if he was outside. If he consumed what the guys consumed. We got to remember that too. If he consumed exactly what the guys consumed and he was outside, it would be a wrap for him too. Then there would be 4 men passed out in the backyard. And in fact, we'd all not be scratching our heads wondering what the hell happened here. Actually, we would. I take that back because there still would be the story of party goer number 5. Johnny number 5, as I like to call him from time to time, Alex Lee. Because remember, there's a 5th guy involved in this situation as well. He was able to get behind a wheel and drive his ass home. Let's not forget that. He saw those guys at midnight still alive watching Jeopardy with Jordan. So to me, my assumption is that if he did partake, he didn't partake in anything that had a heavy amount of Fenty in it. That's just my theory. But if Jordan went into the backyard and took whatever they took and had the same reaction and passed out, he'd be gone too. And then it would be an ongoing debate or mystery of, well, then Alex is the one who gave it to the guys. Blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying? We'd all be looking at Alex. And I heard somebody, or I saw somebody in the chat going, is he in witness protection or something of that sort? Alex Lee? I don't know. But he's in hiding. He's nowhere to be found. But witness protection? I don't know. I don't know about all that. I think he's just hiding, to be honest. He's probably hiding in the basement of his mama's house right now. I'm being real. Just hiding out, ordering nothing but DoorDash. It makes me think it screams Shanquella Robinson. It screams Shanquella Robinson a little bit, just so you guys know. All right. But he's hiding somewhere for sure. Probably quit his job and everything. Just hiding out. S-Dubs, thank you so much for the 5. Redheads process anesthesia different than most. We burn it up faster. Fent is a form of anesthesia. Interesting. That's interesting. I'm wondering who, which one's the redhead though? Interesting. Crystal, thank you so much for the 5. The cops found a backpack, yep, with pills in it, but didn't take it. Yeah, that's another thing. Weird, right? There is a video out here. I thought I had it, but I haven't pulled it up. I'm gonna have to pull that up so we can talk. We can hear it from Ashley Banfield's own mouth. But she even says it. This is what's so frustrating because there's so many pieces of information, little breadcrumb, little pieces of details that are being said, but they're spread throughout. It's not being said on one show, or from one news anchor, right? You're hearing it from Fox News, or you're hearing it from this anchor on News Nation, you know what I mean? And then you just kind of have to piece these things together, and it's really frustrating. Like hearing about one of the guys having a pharmaceutical license. That's very interesting. Why would one of the guys have a pharmaceutical license? Where did that come from? And why has that not been a headline or a conversation piece out here in these streets? He had a pharmaceutical license. One of them. Who is it? And why would they have it? That's weird. Then the other part, which is what we just read, that there was a backpack in the house that had pills in it too. And you're telling me cops didn't pick that ish up? Like the hell? Remember, there was a coat inside the house too. There was belongings that were personal belongings that were of other guys that were dead outside, that were still inside the house. It's just weird, y'all. It just don't make no damn sense. Star Sorcerer, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. And that's the other thing too, Sherry Berry. I want to know too, what kind of pills, baby? Were they for was it heart medicine? Or was it some other stuff? Or was it pills? Okay. Were they party favors as well? Uppers, downers, what were they? But that's the thing. It's like, man, they really police dropped the ball, yo. They dropped the doggone ball. Hence the reason why everybody's looking at this and shaking their heads, scratching their heads and going, what the F happened here? Why did they do what they did? Okay. Hold on, guys. 1 second. I'm pulling up. I'm trying to find it real quick. Son of a gun. Shoot, hold on. What the heck is it? I'm trying to find it. I mean, I literally heard Banfield even say it with her own mouth that these guys were I heard it from Ashley Banfield's mouth saying something about a book bag being found inside the house and all that. And I can't find it to save my life right now. And that's frustrating. Maybe it's this one. Hold on. Let me grab this real quick, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Now, I think another question that we're going to have to ask, and maybe it's in this video, I'm not sure, in this Ashley Banfield video, but the question is, will one of the guys, one of the surviving friends, be faced with any type of charges? I think that's something that we all want to know. But Banfield,
if someone dies while someone is in the commission of a felony, you can be charged with murder, and in many states it is death penalty. So I'm just sort of flummoxed by the idea that this house was not a crime scene. Does any of it make sense to you?
Well, good evening, Ashley. It's been a while. It's good to be back with you. I will tell you from the beginning of this thing, I mean, this happened, about 3 weeks ago? And I'm a little surprised at this call for these answers to be immediate. In the fast food world we live in here, it's like they want the 43 minutes of a television show with no commercials, and it just doesn't work that way. It's a tragic scene. I don't know that it wasn't secured by those officers that responded. There is a video out that purportedly shows that they had Willis in custody at the time that they arrived. I've also read where another person that was going to the scene approached it. There were police everywhere, and there was some caution tape, to use their term, around the house. So that would indicate to me that there was some sort of crime scene tape causing a barrier, which would indicate that they have secured the scene. Now, as far as what was recovered there and so forth and so on, we won't know that until we understand what law enforcement presents to us as what they recovered. In terms of a felony.
But wait, because we absolutely know at this point that, as Ricky Johnson was dead and frozen out in the backyard that we're looking at right now, his backpack was sitting in that home.
I'm just saying, first off, thank you so much for the reminder. Because of that super chat, I wouldn't have been able to, I would have forgotten that. But again, Ricky Johnson's book bag was inside the house. Like I'm saying, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense, y'all. If Jordan was passed out for 48 hours, the math is not mathing for me. Regardless, if he woke up 24 hours later to 48 hours later, he still woke up to stuff being inside his house. Instantly, I'm sitting there thinking, well, that's my boy's book bag, or that ain't, at least let's just say this. You're waking up and you're seeing a coat inside the house, and instantly in your head, you're going, that ain't my coat. You're looking at a book bag and you're going, that definitely ain't my coat, my book bag. Oh, that must be oh, that's Ricky's. I saw him walk in with this bag. Where the hell are my boys at? Did they leave? Look out the front door. Cars are still there. Look out the back window. Oh, my Lord. David's sitting up in a chair. Yo, David, man, what the? You see what I'm saying? It just, like I said, it's just ridiculous. Book bag found in the back of the house. Or sorry, book bag was found inside the house. Was left behind by 5-0. Is it lazy investigation or what?
And when Jordan Willis, the owner, moved out because he was under so much scrutiny, he went off into hiding, and now he's in rehab. The backpack was still there. It was another connection, another family friend that brought Ricky's backpack out of that home and over to his family to reunite his belongings with his family. And I just can't for the life of me figure out, if you have 3 dead men mysteriously in the backyard, and you've cuffed the homeowner and then uncuffed him and taken him downtown to question him, how would you not process that scene a little more carefully? How would you not take a backpack of one of the victims and notice 2 bottles that have pills in them, one antacid and ibuprofen? Maybe, I don't know, and no one will ever know because no one bothered to look.
How many people? Okay, maybe. You know what? I already know some of y'all are going to answer this question in this way, but how many people? And I'm sure it's going to be a lot of females that are going to say this. But how many people are out here that actually walk around with antacids and ibuprofen at their disposal? Fellas, I'm talking about the fellas. How many fellas out here? Because ladies, I get it. You guys got that. You got your purse. Some of y'all have that purse like Mary Poppins, where it's like this bottomless pit of everything you can think of is in that mug. Some of y'all have your mom purses as well that have everything in it. So I get that piece. But as far as men go, how many men are out here running out here in these streets with all this stuff on their person? Unless it's something like do or die. These are my heart pills. I need these heart pills, right? Just in case I take them with me at all times. I'm just saying. Okay. And no, I don't mean any disrespect to no women out here. I'm just saying, I know, hey, my mom had that man, my mom still got that purse to this day, the Mary Poppins purse. You could freaking pull out a lamppost out that mug. You just go, where's the bottom of this thing, man? Okay. But real talk. This guy had this stuff on his, like, what were those pills for? And of course, we're not going to know right off the bat what they are. And they could be, they could be Flintstone vitamins for crying out loud. They could be anything. But at the same time, it is interesting that his personal belongings were still inside the house and police did not gather those things up during their investigation. That's weird. All right. And as a guy, you know, we don't really carry around a book bag with us unless it's to carry certain things for whatever it may be. Like that's the book bag you use for work or something of that sort. But it's rare that you see a guy running around with a book bag, you know, like he still holds on to his old habits, like he's still in Boy Scouts or something. I just, unless he was reading books, he's an avid reader. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird. And it makes you wonder what's going on. Why? Unless, okay, some people are like college. Maybe he was attending college. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know anything of that sort, but he still had pills in that bag. Why? What's up with that? And what were they? Again, it could be nothing, but it also could be everything. But one thing we could say, we could be rest assured, is that police did not gather those things, did not grab those things and say, hey, what's up with this? We need to take this stuff and investigate a little bit more. That is odd, guys. That is very, very odd. Okay? Now, you know, I'm not going to go into all that stuff, you know, more into that video, but that was a piece of information that I did find extremely interesting and I think crucial because, again, it's just shedding more light into what the police did or did not do. Also, it sheds more light into Jordan and the things that we are looking at going, okay, you know, did he pass out for 48 hours or not? Now, this is the thing, because I do have to share this with you guys again, because I think it's incredibly important. And it has to do with, yes, we're venturing back into Palermo. We're going back to Palermo real quick, but I think this is incredibly crucial. Hold on. Does this? Nope, that's not it. Hold on. Just want to make sure I have it. Okay. This is very important. So we're bringing him back. The reason why I'm bringing him back is because what he says is contradicting any of the theories of this man possibly being passed out for 48 hours. This is incredibly crucial. This is incredibly important because, again, if they're out here saying he was passed out for 48 hours or the 50 hours in which these guys were gone for, this is the reason why he didn't pick up phone calls. This is the reason why he didn't he received the text messages, but he didn't respond to the text messages. This pokes another hole and puts in another inconsistency to all the inconsistencies that have already been displayed, not only just by Palermo, but by Jordan himself as well. Because you got to remember, Jordan is speaking to Palermo, and then Palermo is regurgitating all this stuff on these interviews. And that's why the story keeps changing. That's why he keeps moving the goalpost. But one thing is for sure. He says when he talks about these robocalls that he did have a conversation. He says he received a phone call from his father. Let me play that for you. And if that means he picked up the phone, that does not mean he was asleep for 48 hours. I just got to find it, unfortunately, guys. Okay? We're going to be jumping in through this thing. Hold on. Okay? All right. Oh, crap. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I got it now. Sorry.
The fifth friend says that he was getting messages and he was trying to find them and he wasn't getting his messages answered either. So what is it?
So I have sent your staff the records, his phone records, which I acquired this afternoon, and also the text message records. And during that period of time, the phone calls that came in on the early morning hour after the game on the 7th and the early morning hours of the 8th, all the way to the 8th, and then all the way to the 9th when the police came. The only calls that came in were one from his dad, which we recognize the number, and you have the actual numbers. Mm-hmm. And then the other calls, there were 8 of them that came in from what is a dummy number. He has a robo killer app on his phone. And so when calls come in that are unrecognized or for whatever reason, they read as this dummy number. I've dialed this dummy number myself. It's a non-existent number. You get a message saying whatever. It's a dummy number. And then the only other call that came in was all zeros, a call that he blocked again from a RoboCop.
What about
the text messages?
Yeah.
RoboText. Yeah. As far as the text messages go, which you have.
Now, here's the thing. He does say that his father did call him, that he did receive a phone call from his father. Now, does that mean he picked up the phone when his father called? Okay, I may be wrong on that part. He does not say he picked up the phone and talked to him, but a phone call was made to his father. And I'm wondering, or a phone call was made by his father. And I'm still wondering if he picked up that phone call. I'm still wondering that. Sure, robocalls and all that. But his dad did call. The other thing, too, let's not forget, they did say, according to party guy number 5, Alex Lee, he did say that the dogs were still there. Now, one thing I'm still wondering is if the dogs were still there during the time that the guys were still alive, he had to have had a phone call or a conversation with somebody to get the dogs out of the house. Because remember, what Paserno's been saying this entire time is that the dogs were being dog sat by his dad. So were the dogs in the house or no? Because that tells us a different timeline. That breaks it down, showing us proof positive that he was awake. He was alive. He was alive and breathing for 48 hours. During those 48 hours, he knew exactly what was going on. And I don't know why he wanted the dogs out of the house, but he took the dogs out. Maybe he didn't want them to do their business inside the house because he didn't want them to go outside to make a ruckus over these 3 men that had passed. But the fact that he had a phone call from his father that we do not know whether he picked up or not, that phone call, it does tell us, it does give us a possibility of something. He doesn't say if he picked up the phone call or not. But if he did pick up that phone call, that means for sure he wasn't passed out for 48 hours. Let me let him continue, okay? Because he even slips up and says Alex's name in here too, remember?
There are a series of incoming text messages. That's all we have. There are no outgoing text messages. So the corollary to that, what goes along with what makes sense to that is when you and I get a text message, typically we're going to respond. If somebody texts you and says, hey, these 3 guys are missing, and they're your friend, you're going to respond. If Alex had said, if someone had said to him, the text message came in, why don't you respond? You would respond to your friend, right? That's what you would do.
Maybe.
The reporter wanted to twist my words when I said he didn't receive any messages. And technically I'm right. His phone received the messages. If you don't look at it, you did not receive the messages. I guess I should have said he didn't read the messages. And yes, as far as the text message from his friend, he did not tell me about that. And when I was informed of that, I asked him about that. And then he told me that's right. So there's 2 text messages, or excuse me, a Facebook message and a text message. And neither one he got before the police arrived at his home.
All right.
Let me just say that. Let me just play that part again.
Facebook message and a text message. And neither one he got before the police arrived at his home.
So he got a Facebook message and a text message that he did not receive before the cops showed up. Before the cops showed up. Okay. Now I know I'm hanging on every single word that this man, expels out of his face. All right. But at the same time, though, that is something interesting, because then it tells me this man was awake. This man was alive and alert. He knew exactly what was going on. He knew his friends had passed in the backyard. Maybe he partook the night before, but then he went into, like I've said before, a dark, deep depression, freaked the hell out, maybe just stayed home and just kept boozing or doing harder stuff, hoping that this stuff was just a really bad dream and hoping that maybe all this stuff would pass, or sitting there waiting for the inevitable to come. But there was a phone call that was made by his father on one of the days before the fiance broke into the house and found David Harrington sitting upright in a lawn chair in this guy's backyard. So, like I said, I'm going to keep talking about this. We're going to keep covering this. We're going to keep asking questions, the necessary questions, until we actually get the real timeline. But there are things that still haven't been answered yet. Is Alex Lee lying? One, about saying that the dogs were at the house. Or is he telling the truth? Dogs, in my personal opinion, are a huge key to this situation. Because if those dogs were there when those men passed away, that means that this man knew exactly what happened and he wanted the dogs out of the house. He called somebody, that person came over, picked up the dogs, or he went and dropped them off. Whichever way, something happened which would inspire him, that would motivate him to make the dogs leave the house. That would definitely show that he was up during those 48 hours. Yes, it's still a possibility. Let's not forget, it's still a possibility that he was passed out for 48 hours. There's still, if he partook and he had the Fenty in his system, absolutely, definitely a possibility. But that's not how we're seeing this. You're saying that he miraculously woke up 50 hours later because of the fiance? He didn't hear anything else? And also, you got to remember this too. You're also telling me that when he went to pass out, he put in noise canceling headphones, he put the fan on and all that stuff on the couch, and he was just passed out for 48 hours, 50 hours, passed out with noise canceling headphones, a fan on for 48 hours? If he was reacting terribly to the Fenty as well, he wouldn't have time to go to his room, get the noise canceling earbuds, get the fan, turn that mug on, and then pass out ever so conveniently on the couch for 48 hours. Let's not forget that. Think about these things, guys. Like I said, math is not mathing. It's just not mathing. And if those dogs were dropped off or taken out of his home within those 48 hours, that means he was awake. He knew that these men were dead in his backyard, and he needed time to clean up his ish. And also, you got to remember this too. God forbid if those dogs passed away from licking something off of the coffee table. You feel me? So what did he, of course he's sitting there going, no. I need the dogs out so I can clean up. I need to clean this ish up. And I don't want these dogs anywhere near this stuff. Those are my prides and joys. So of course he's going to call up somebody or get in touch with his papa and say, hey, can you take the dogs? Think about that. Think about that, y'all. He's already got 3 friends gone. Do you want his 2 dogs to go bye-bye too? Sounds like a really demented, messed up country song. All you got to add in is he lost his girl and he got fired from his job. Then you got a really crappy, messed up, twisted country song to listen to. That's messed up. So of course he's going to sit there and go, no, not my doggies. Not the doggos. Let me get them out of here. If they were there. If they were initially there. Think about it, guys. Because I don't know about y'all, but dogs are dogs. You leave something out on the coffee table more than 5 seconds, they're trying to get their face in it and all that stuff. Okay? Doesn't matter how disciplined they are. Possibilities are endless with this, y'all. Let me get these super chats really quick. Quick. Crystal, thank you so much. Oh, the highest in the room. Thank you so much for the 20. Anytime there's an unnatural death, the coroner or medical examiner and the police do a thorough investigation to determine COD at scene. So they may have gone in there. They may have seen what they saw. And then they said, hey, these are the breaks. This is exactly what all the breadcrumbs, all the clues are giving us. They OD'd. They took some bad stuff. It's a wrap. That could very well be it too. Okay. But I'm sure they're waiting for more information. But at the same time, when you have all that stuff from the preliminary toxicology report, this means this should be going into a different type of investigation. And that's just my personal opinion on that. Okay. Elizabeth, thank you so much for the 5 Canadian. I appreciate it. The news keeps saying that Jordan passed out on the couch when the fiance broke in. He wasn't there. Exactly. Which means he woke up. Exactly. He must have seen them. Exactly. Let's not forget that. Hitting it so hard, it's shaking the camera. Elizabeth, from downtown, or from Canada, way out there in Canada, okay? Exactly. I'm just going to, one more again. Exactly. So he woke up at some point. It's not like she walked in and he was just, huh? No, she broke into the crib screaming for his name, found David sitting upright in the chair, and she didn't have to do much looking. She walked right in the living room, saw a man in the chair. Come on, man. He wasn't in the couch. He wasn't on the couch. He wasn't passed out on the couch, sawing logs or anything of that sort. He probably ran upstairs and hid in the closet. Went into the basement, did something, trying to hide from whoever just broke in the house because he doesn't want to face the music. Like I said, he wasn't passed out for 48 hours. Come on, y'all. We can most definitely, like, at least to me, you could put that off the table. If and only if that part is true, that he went to sleep on the couch when those guys left. And if that's the only place he passed out in, noise canceling headphones, etc., all that stuff, you can cancel all that stuff. Because who has time to go, whoa, I feel funny. Hold on. Let me go all the way upstairs, get my noise canceling headphones. Let me go get the fan. Let me unplug it, take it all the way back downstairs next to the couch. Oh, let me plug it back in. Let me make sure that these noise canceling headphones are securely in my ears, and then conveniently pass out on the couch. That's way too choreographed, guys. I'm sorry. Way too choreographed. So, Elizabeth from downtown, from Canada, with some facts there too. Again, it just, all of it is still, it's frustrating because we don't know the full timeline. And I've said this before, but what's frustrating is whatever Jordan mutters next, are we going to believe him? Are we actually going to believe the dude? I'm going to tell you, I don't think we will. We'll still be side-eyeing this until we feel that a full semblance of truth comes out. How that looks and how that's going to be displayed, That may only just be in the autopsy report and the toxicology report when all that comes out. That may just be what it is here. But it is sad, nonetheless, because this is not how these guys should have left the planet. They should have been able to live their lives to the fullest. Clayton should have been able to see his beautiful bride walking down the aisle, him getting married, the other guys being able to be great fathers and whatnot, living their lives to the fullest. But now they can't have that because of some very bad circumstances. All of this would be different. Going back to what the friend said. Whether he did this or not, whether this was tailor-made party favors or not, it doesn't matter. It's the actions that are speaking a lot louder than his words. It's what he did before the cops, before the fiance broke into that house. It's the fact that the things that he didn't do that are speaking volumes here. That's the reason why he is being looked at in such a terrible way. Had he had just called 911 right off the bat, this would be a completely different conversation. We wouldn't be talking about it. We wouldn't. It'd be a headline. People would go, oh man, that's so terrible. And I feel that we would have kept it moving. We'd be going on to the next news story, the next mind-blowing topic. But because of his poor judgment, because of his poor choices, this is the reason why he is exactly where he is and why everybody is looking at him in this particular way. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. It really, really does mean a lot. All right. Try to give you as much information, as much updates as I could. But, of course, this story is going to continue rolling. There's so much more to talk about. I am sure we will talk about it when we get to that point. But I wanted to play a little bit of catch up, let you guys know what was going on so far. There's more information, I'm sure, and we will talk about it. Trust and believe. So I appreciate all y'all for being here. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on Facebook. Please and thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, okay? If you're watching on Facebook. Wait. Oh, okay. Somebody just asked a question, which is very important. Also, Francis, thank you so much for the $10 for the $10 Cash App. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. That really means a lot. But hit that subscribe button on my YouTube channel. If you haven't done that yet, hit that follow button on my Facebook page. Please and thank you. Consider becoming a member of the family by hitting that join button down below if you're watching on YouTube. That would be greatly appreciated. And please don't forget, go check out PascalMerch.com. I got some really great stuff over there. Handcrafted hoodies, t-shirts, and then some. Go check out that stuff, okay? We got a really nice My Funny Valentine's jogger set. Go check it out. I'm sure you'll find something you like regardless on that channel or on that website. And of course, please be sure to go over to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Go follow, hit that subscribe button over there. I'm trying to bulk that up as well, so I can have a few more clips over there as well for you guys to see. Because sometimes you guys don't want to watch a 2-hour show, which is totally understandable. So I'm here to have you guys go over there, subscribe to that secondary channel as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, guys. But anyway, I appreciate you, Michelle Goins. She's new. Thank you so much for becoming a new member. I appreciate it. All right. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. Love to get it to 1K. It's not too much to ask for. A like don't cost a thing. Okay. Thank you guys so much. And Donald said, love your merchandise, Pascal. Thank you. I'm working hard. Okay. So I appreciate the support. Thank you. Thank you. Go check it out. PascalMerch.com, BeautifulBeefCollections.com. They both websites go, or both addresses go to the same website. So go check it out, okay? And I also mail internationally. Let's not forget that too, okay? If you guys are watching from across the pond. Anyway, guys, I appreciate all y'all. It is time to get going. Enjoy your Sunday. Make it a wonderful one. Make it a relaxing one. And I'll see you guys very, 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 very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Talk to you guys soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.